Okay, it's 9 o'clock, so we'll get started here. Uh, Looks, this meeting and all other meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin statutes so that the citizenry be aware of the time, place, and agenda of the meeting. Roll call shows, looks like everybody's here. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. If you reviewed the previous meeting minutes from June 24th.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we're on to correspondence.
I don't have any.
Then we come to administrative department review. Chris?
All right, so just a couple things that I have for you this morning. First, today, so kind of a theme has been facility and the where we fit within the remodel. We're kind of our lower level is winding down, but they're starting above us, so we're dealing with that. But it's all the things that need to do, and everyone in the whole building is going to need to deal with that at some point over the next 2 to 3 years. So just doing the best we can. Ron is doing the best that he can to try and keep us in the loop as far as what is anticipated for the schedule. So if we need to adjust our working environments or our locations, the contractors, sometimes schedules change or whatever it might be, but Ron and the whole crew, his crew is doing the best that they can to keep us up to date. I have a meeting this morning with Ron and Jim, who is the architect project manager, just to go over some last things. We do have our office spaces situated, and we just need to work on Haley and Allie's workspace and get that finalized, and then we should be as good as we can be within the space that we have down there. So that's moving forward there. A couple of other things as far as staff. So Allie has been here for 1 month, if this is our next committee meeting. Learning all of the things, especially in light of the first little bit of time with the network disruption and all of those things getting up to speed, and we're slowly finding the things that everybody needs to be connected or reconnected to. Another, just a reminder, at our next meeting, so Alicia Becker is going to join us as our human development and relationships with a focus on lifespan and family engagement and relationships. So I announced that at the last meeting. She'll be joining us starting August 5th, and she'll be here at our next meeting to give an introduction of herself and the work she's done. Just a quick reminder, she is coming to us after a year in Sheboygan County as human development and relationship educator. So she has already been connecting and giving our staff FYIs, here's some programs that are coming. She's already working on planning programming that is going to be relevant and going to be right here in Waupaca County. So she's going to hit the ground running. And we're really looking forward to that. And I hope you'll
is that mental? Is that part of development, or is that?
So I would say that there is a thread all the way through our health and well-being educators. So that's a different program area, have a stronger focus in the mental health, and the mental health is woven into the core programs that Alicia, sorry. I have an Alicia and Alyssa, Alicia and Alyssa, so I get them mixed up in my brain. The core programs that she offers have that through, so it's kind of a broad approach to that.
No, I just know. Riverside community, we're a dental place, that's focused on mental health there too. That
Right.
new- That new part, that's why I was just questioning if that was. Go ahead.
Okay, so look, we're excited there, excited with all of those things that are happening. Not a lot right now, not a lot is going on as far as state legislature. State legislature is not in session, so anything that might be related. There is each summer there are legislative committees that are formed, usually 2 to 4 committees, and they're essentially an opportunity that they're sponsored by the legislature, both Senate and Assembly. They oftentimes bring in core, content experts and things, and they're more of like an exploration or a deeper dive because legislature is not in session. One of the committees this year is relating to the University of Wisconsin system or the universities of Wisconsin system. They have only had 1 meeting, so there's nothing that has come out either as far as information or recommendations or anything like that. I don't think that recommendations don't normally come out of this group, but there may be some type of a summary report at the end of their meeting. So that's just something that's an FYI, that there may be something that comes out of that, but nothing that that I'm aware of or any of my colleagues are at this time. And then the other thing that I'll put out for, that I've had a conversation, with Christy Gabrielska and also Christy Opperman. And, when we get to the, agenda item for our next monthly meeting on, August 19th, I would like you to consider, we would like to consider having our meeting at the Waupaca Public Library in their public meeting space. Because Haley and Christy are going to be able to give a much better explanation. But the Hunger Task Force, which is part of Be Well Waupaca, has they've been working on a display. Amy's been part of that as well. There's a display that they are having, and we would like to have that meeting in that space, so that then immediately following our business session, that you would be able to have an opportunity to tour the exhibit with some of the individuals that have been part of making that happen. So I just want to put that, we'll talk about it. There is an agenda item number 9. We'll talk about that, but just wanted to prime or let you know that that's something that we want to talk about, and it'll make sense because Christy and Haley and Amy may have maybe sharing some updates about the exhibit in just a few minutes. Questions? I'm also working on the budget, so just starting that process. Winnebago and Outagamie budgets are due this week, so getting those finished, and then I will turn my attention after I come back from a week of vacation. So the first week of August, I will turn my attention to starting our 2025 departmental budget.
Okay, that's it.
Yep.
Okay, next we'll go on to educator reports. Haley?
Hello and good morning. I am going to give an overview of the work that I have been doing, particularly in the Clintonville community. So I want to back up and just address that one of my goals when meeting with Christy, my supervisor, we meet on an annual basis. One of my goals was to branch out and to focus my efforts in some of the other communities in the Waupaca County area. Noting that a lot of efforts had been just naturally taking place here in Waupaca because of our location and some of the resources that we were connected with already before I stepped into this role 5 years ago, actually. So just addressing that goal, I was evaluating the county and where connections could take me and where some of the highest needs were. So I determined that I wanted to put effort into the Clintonville community. And I chose that community due to really, there's a lot of our target population that lives up in the Clintonville community. With that being individuals that qualify for food share, participate in WIC. You know, the poverty rate up there is on the higher side. The free and reduced rate in the schools averages around 70%. And that is a really great foot in the door for our program, and they qualify for our programming. And each year, actually for the last 5 years that I've been in this role, I have been doing nutrition education in the elementary school. My target audience for that is kindergarten and second grade, trying to establish a relationship with the younger ones to encourage them to make the healthy choice the easy choice, empowering them to make those healthy decisions on their own as young as possible. So that's some of the work that I do in the school. I also, you know, just address that there's a beautiful resource hub up in the Clintonville community, the Compassionate Connect Center. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that center, but they provide just about anything under the sun to individuals that would walk in their door and say, I need help with X. Some of the things that they do, I have a hygiene pantry. They give out mini car repair loans. They help with rental assistance, and just different things like that. So, you know, hand in hand, we work, you know, really nicely together. And they have invited me to be one of their partners, and that has formed into a very, very beautiful relationship and a great opportunity to reach individuals and families up in the Clintonville community.
Say it was called.
It's called the Compassionate Connect Center. They actually just relocated to a downtown location. They bought a building right on Main Street. And I was able to visit that recently at a back to school clothing resource that they hold every year. And that was located within their building this year. And that in particular served around, I don't have the exact number, it was like 258 students in the Clintonville district, where they provided one brand new back to school outfit, shoes, undergarments. If they could not find shoes at the resource, they were given a voucher to use at the local shoe store, and school supplies. And I was there in the capacity of sharing resources on how to use local or use your food benefits at local locations. I was also helping them to promote their backpack program. They have a weekend backpack program through the Nutrition Mission. It's a branch under the Compassionate Connect Center, where students are able to go home on Fridays with a backpack to help supplement food need over the weekend. So I was helping them to promote that program. Also helping to walk individuals through any questions they might have regarding free and reduced lunch information. So that was my job at this back to school resource fair. In addition to that, I had been working with Leah and Amy. Yes.
How are they funded? I mean, sounds like they're giving away a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. So they are a nonprofit, and they apply for a lot of grants. And they have a lot of different community support as well. But essentially their main funding stream is applying for grants that, you know, have these categories that they're able to supply these things.
Backpack program in London. I don't know if that's still on or not.
It does, it is called, help me out, Christy, is that the tip of my tongue? Thank you, the Project Backpack. And that's actually, the hub for that is here in Waupaca, and they source out to the New London district, the Manawa district, I believe Iola and Waupaca. But yes, that program is still going. the Clintonville community has its own through the Compassionate Connect.
Who actually started this,
The Compassionate Connect Center.
Yeah.
This
you know,
mighty force of two women,
is that from local?
yep, Leah and Amy are their names.
Is that,
And then from
And
there,
they've been around just like,
I
I
think
don't know,
roughly
five
4 or 5 years.
yeah.
Mhm. And then they established a board and they, applied for nonprofit status and, they have a very large community surrounding them, volunteer network, their board of directors, and their staff.
And they were located in the old vet office in Clintonville.
Oh.
Well, that the building
Yeah,
where they
thank
were
you. I didn't
was
know that
the
was-
vet's office
Mhm.
next to the community center. Like the old United Vet Service building, if you're familiar with where that was in town.
Yeah.
Yes,
Near the
yeah,
police department.
yeah, that's where they were located.
Yeah, Main Street.
Yeah, they're right on the main drag, kind of like kitty corner from Quick Trip.
Mm,
Used to be a flower shop.
mhm. Either Wantas or Flowers and Things or,
Jim most recently. I
Yeah,
think.
right next to the bank. There's a bank.
Oh, okay, next to Dairy, Old Dairy.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep, yeah.
that's what the old American Family was in?
No, that was across the street down here, just past.
Okay.
Where Bank First is, now, you know where Bank First is? This is just south of it.
Mhm.
Used to be Keller's Appliance years and years. ago.
Okay, that would make sense with the big windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that, yeah. Walked the first refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. So in addition to being present at that back to school resource, I have also partnered with them to host a series of 4 classes. We call them Keep Calm and Cook On, and I have the flyers for that. I've given 3 classes so far, so they're free classes that we encourage families of young children to sign up for. And we're showcasing each month a seasonally grown Wisconsin vegetable through the Harvest of the Month campaign through Foodwise. And we also have partnered with the Wisconsin Food Hub here in Waupaca to help us source locally grown Wisconsin produce. This past month, or excuse me, last week, 2 weeks ago, July 17th, we had a class and we were featuring cucumbers and we made a tuna salad with cucumbers. So at this class, and I break off the children and they go and do a fun activity and I have time with the parents or guardians to just talk about challenges, feeding young children. And we have an open group discussion and I provide some tips and tricks on how to incorporate, healthy choices into the menu and encouraging children to try new things. And especially focusing on fruits and vegetables and getting those into their diet. And then when we bring the children back, we do a fun interactive cooking experience where I have child-friendly knives. And this past one, they were able to chop up their own cucumbers to incorporate into the tuna salad. And the kids get very involved and hands-on and they really enjoy it. And that encourages them as they're a part of this process to, get curious and try these things. And the first recipe we made was asparagus mushroom melts. The second one was a super salad, which was kind of like an assembly line where they were able to pick and choose different ingredients to put on their salad. Like I said, this past one was a tuna salad with cucumbers, which we had on an open faced piece of bread. And then next month is black bean quesadillas. And I would say about like 80% have been where the children have really liked these recipes, where parents have verbalized, I never thought my child would eat asparagus or mushrooms or tuna or, these different things. And it's been very successful. So I would hand out these flyers, just an example of how we're advertising this event. And we both English and Spanish. Ken, they're in English and Spanish.
Oh, good.
And we have had attendance from a few Hispanic speaking individuals and families, and Christy is working on pulling up some. Or Chris, is working on pulling up some pictures from these classes. Penny was present at 2 of them to help me with the child activity. So that was really fun to partner with 4-H. Did everyone get one of those?
Maybe you do.
Oh,
You get the
do
Spanish.
you want the English version so you can read it?
We'll check it and see.
So here they're making the salad. They're like I said, it was kind of like an assembly or a salad bar, if you will. They were able to pick and choose different things. They were able to cut up different things to put on their salad. Oh, that was one of the fun activities 4-H helped do.
Maybe you want that Spanish.
There's that.
Funny that you bring this
Yeah,
up,
probably.
because my wife does it with twins.
Oh, yeah.
She gets them involved in making the food.
Oh my gosh, when they're included in the cooking process,
Next time you make
Absolutely.
these, let get me more involved.
oh, next time we make the beet dip, all right, deal.
Something that I wanted to note, I think Haley has made an incredible impression on Compassionate Connections. Like she said, she's not, or their focus isn't just nutrition education. It is, rental services, like she said, car, really anything that our target audience may need support in, anyone with limited resources or so nutrition is just a small, or access to food is a small portion of what Compassionate Connections focuses on. But these classes are a really great opportunity for food-wise to tap into the audience that Compassionate Connections is already reaching. And somebody had asked about funding, and they have a lot of grants, and so we have another program. So when we showed you the beet dip example and we talked about highlighting a Harvest of the Month food, Haley goes to Compassionate Connections once a month to highlight that food. That month it was beet. They have decided, they valued that so much and saw how impactful that was on their clients that they decided to take this class and incorporate Harvest of the Month instead of Haley going and just having kind of a walk by or walk in conversations. They targeted these classes around Harvest of the Month. So when they could, Compassionate Connections wrote a grant specifically to host these classes, and they were using their funds that they received to buy food locally as well. So Haley was intentional with the recipe she was making. The lettuce was that this month it was greens that they were highlighting. So she was, made a recipe including greens. I was trying to send photos off of my phone to this computer to share the month that it was asparagus. They got it from Glendale Farm. So when they can, they're purchasing this food locally. So it runs so much deeper than just this cooking class. Compassionate Connections is really ingrained in the community, and it's really important to them that they're supporting local growers and businesses as well. And the other beautiful thing about that is Glendale Farm accepts WIC farmers market checks. So when Haley is creating these recipes, promoting, these local resources, she was able to say Compassionate Connections went down to Glendale, they harvested this asparagus, just give you guys today, you can go shop with your WIC farmers market checks and get your asparagus yourself. So really full circle.
Yeah, thank you for that background. When you're ingrained in it and you do it all the time, like some of those details slip your mind, but that's very helpful. Thank you, Christy, for mentioning those things. So yeah, so going off of what Christy had said, I have another resource that I'll share with you and things that I mentioned during that class, and then also being up and present in the Clintonville community, encouraging individuals that utilize WIC, places that they can shop with their WIC farmers market vouchers. So WIC family vouchers, and then there's also the senior farmer market nutrition program vouchers that can also be utilized at these locations. So this is a resource we hand out to families. And on the backside, it tells you every place in the county that you can utilize your WIC dollars. So I'll hand that out to, that down to Bernie. This is in English, yes, but we also have it in Spanish too.
But food is a big item, you know, these kids eat healthy food, it changes their whole system. It's a big deal.
It really is.
So Haley, do you ever do anything in like the midwinter months of trying to get kids and getting them seed packets so that they can start their own tomatoes or beans or something like that, so they won't have to go out and buy them and just kind of get them involved that way?
That is a great idea. We have done something similar to that in Waupaca. But I love that idea to host that during the winter months with this
And they can-
wonderful partner.
They can watch them grow in the window and plant them, and then as long as they're getting into the preparing the food, they can harvest it themselves also.
Yep, I love that idea. Now, we also have touched on, in these classes that, you know, you don't need a large plot of land to have a garden. You can grow a container garden on, if, let's just say, for instance, they live in an apartment, you can grow it on your deck. And things like that. But yeah, that's a great idea to grow things in the winter time. That would be fun for the kids.
Wasn't there a 4-H program in gardening? I remember years ago, we would start everything in March in the window. You know.
Yeah, and I know in some counties, they do like planting pumpkins and stuff like that to, you know, do like the contest in October. Yeah. But we did volunteer 2 times last year with the Waupaca Summer Garden Program and had some 4-H connections there. We do sometimes planting, like at Super Saturday and things like that. We don't have anything like specifically for planting in the spring. They used to maybe. We don't right now, but we do some of it through other programs.
Yeah, it's different now. Now every parking lot's got a greenhouse on it in the spring, so. When we grew up there, wasn't, so yeah,
Sure, yeah, do a lot of your own growing.
and then I think everybody between Clinton, you know, New London, everybody grew cabbage, and that all, the cabbage plants all came from Georgia. And they planted them by hand, so.
What?
Now they planted by seed out in the sand, so it's all changed. Anyway,
My grandson just brought me the seeds. It says, here, Grandpa, plant these.
You're so good at it, Grandpa, right?
Yeah.
You're happy.
I see when he comes over, he says, "Oh, you're gonna help me weed." Oh, that's for your job.
Right.
We have had some donations of seeds. There was a 4-H volunteer that worked at the Shopco in Clintonville, and a couple years after the season, she would bring me a whole box of seeds. I think we got some from Fleet Farm one year, so depending on what's available, you know, that is something like for Compassionate Connect, even with Fleet Farm up in Clintonville, maybe a place to check.
Yeah, that might be a nice opportunity for a grant, a way to write in for a grant.
Well, and Fleet Farm does do up to $200 for community support for youth things.
Okay.
They have a form that you need to fill out. It's very simple and turn it in at the local Fleet Farm, and they usually will, it's up to 200, and I believe you get gift cards if you get funded.
Awesome. I'm gonna turn your attention to the screen. Chris, you just pulled up a map of Wisconsin, that resource that I just handed out to you, where you can utilize your WIC farmers market vouchers. This is a map, and the QR code on the front of that resource will pull up this map if you scan it with your phone. any farm vendor or market that accepts WIC dollars in the state of Wisconsin. And speaking of farm markets,
You know,
my last and final effort, go ahead.
like Mayor's Farm, who would think that they're are in this program? I mean, it'd be nice if they had a sign out there saying it here. Member of the Women's Program. Maybe, I don't, I mean, maybe we don't want to push it.
I would definitely push it because it's more money in the farmer's pocket ultimately as well, in addition to access to food. So it's a win-win on both sides.
Say a banner, like a banner, you're part of.
Do you have a connection there?
I used to know them here,
Yeah,
but I don't have a lost connection.
When a farm gets approved to accept the WIC farmers market checks, they do get this yellow sign here.
What they do,
And that is laminated and mailed to them. And then it's the farmer's responsibility to have
what they maybe they.
so that families can be, can identify that farm with this yellow stand indicating that they can use their checks there.
They're qualified.
yeah. The
Yeah,
last
and
time I was
it
in-
may be up by the register or
It is.
something, yeah.
The last time I was in Clintonville, I stopped
Just
for,
think it'd be nice
sweet
if it
corn
was
there,
like-
and it's right
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
No,
Can you
I
move
don't
that
think
over
they're
to
gonna-
what-
Yeah,
Waupaca
I was
County?
just gonna note something.
Okay.
Before I did. I can't see a city, where are we?
Appleton is,
Thank you.
441.
Menasha's right at the bottom.
Yeah, thank you, and it's a hard time. Would you mind doing that while I finish saying what I'm trying to say?
Are you trying to get to Calumet?
No, I see it there. I just was having a hard time with it's once they scroll down to on the screen versus the map.
Oh,
Walls. It's old walls.
No, but that's, Haley's gonna go there. Oh, I was gonna say just about the yellow sign and access, it is on the farmer to remember to put it out, but the WIC staff they are tasked with visiting all of the approved markets throughout the summer to make sure that they do have it out, and that's kind of Foodwise's job as well, is to make sure that our families know what they're looking for, and then also what the farmers should be doing. So some of the work that we've been doing throughout the summer is to hold events or to kind of educate our families on what the process is like when they receive those checks, so that they may feel unfamiliar or a little timid if they've never visited that location. They might have driven past it. Terry Mayer's is a good example. They may have driven past it 100 times, but never actually pulled in. And for any of us, anywhere new is a little scary or intimidating or unsure. Even if you're going into a grocery store you've never been into, you might feel a little like out of sorts. You don't know where you're looking. So it really is on us, or it's a responsibility that Foodwise has taken on to help our families feel comfortable and familiar with shopping with those farmers market checks. And this summer, families who are participating in WIC, who have a child that's either 9 months or older, so essentially they're eating solid foods, or a mom who is pregnant or nursing, they get, each person who falls into that category gets a $40 booklet. So you can have a household who's got, over $100 easily in money that can only be spent at farmers markets. And we have a lot of families who get those booklets in their hands, but then don't spend them. And so a lot of the work that we've been doing is to try and help our families, feel more comfortable and confident getting those dollars spent. So this is just one example of, where Haley's teaching them how to cook with the food. We're showing them where to purchase it. And then, this is an example of if you're traveling outside of Waupaca County, where can you also, they don't have to just ship to Waupaca County, they can ship to the whole state of Wisconsin. So if they're traveling, or if they want to visit a market outside of the county, they can go do that as well. So, where are we, Clintonville?
Here in Clintonville, or the greater Clintonville
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
There's the red or the yellow symbol right up on the
Yeah.
45.
Hover over the yellow, I think it should, or click on it maybe, it should tell you which one it is, there you go.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So people can access this on their phone, like Haley said, if they scan this black and white square on their phone, this website will pop up. And then it gives you the information on when they're open. Where to find them.
That must be Glendale to the right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then there's also a Blueberry,
Oh, yeah.
Blueberry Haven might be the other.
I find that.
Right over by Over.
Yep, that's what we're given. And then the one downtown, Bill is the market itself. Which that's my last thing I have to share with you is the work that I've been doing to help support the Clintonville Farmers Market. Food access is a big component of our job. And we have partnered and made connections with the Clintonville Farmers Market to help bring ideas to them. One being finding an avenue to get EBT up and running at the market. That is in the works with continued conversation and continued presence up in Clintonville. The way that I'm helping to support the market right now, though, is I have created a new flyer that we have hit the ground running to distribute. Boots on the ground, hanging them up in different communities at different locations. And you'll note at the bottom there, it says we accept WIC and Senior Farm Market Nutrition Program vouchers. And that's listed here on this site and that other little resource that I gave you. This market currently has 3 approved vendors that accept WIC, and I'm working on a 4th vendor. There has been some pretty large expansion of this market. And I'm very proud to say that with continued conversation and presence up there, specifically at a vendor meeting at the start of the season, the chamber who houses the Clintonville Farmers Market right now, determined that they needed a little bit more help, and they onboarded a farm market coordinator. One of their vendors stepped up into that role. And I have the goosebumps just talking about it because that just creates so much more opportunity for expansion of the market, logistics of the market, operations of the market, potential for getting EBT up and running, again, having more vendors sign up for the WIC program, just the whole coordination aspect of the market itself and promotion. I mean, you name it, it helps. And we experienced this here in Waupaca with the expansion of the market and onboarding a farm market manager. So really excited that that is happening up in the Clintonville area right now and for the potential of the growth with that and our continuing partnership there.
Can you can you email me the contact information for that person?
Absolutely.
Being a Thursday evening, I'm just thinking that we could do a 4-H up there in addition to the Waupaca that we've done the last few years. So,
Absolutely, and Amy is her name, the farm market coordinator, and she is trying to bring in organizations like that to encourage foot traffic at the market. You get people down there and then hopefully they'll be spending their money down at the market to support the local vendors. So yeah, that would be a great opportunity for 4-H. I can absolutely connect you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Good job.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Weekends you go to these other towns.
Right. You coming with me?
You didn't hear that new one, and it's getting a farmer's market. It has occasionally. It's already been.
I've been knocking down the door there.
I don't know what's going on.
Haley, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You talked about something about it also help with need in transportation. I know Agape and Waupaca has something to do. There's so many people coming now that don't have drivers, they don't have cars, but they want to get to work. Can you help me out? Is there a program? There was another thing I heard about. They're starting up a ride, the help ride or share ride or what is it?
Catch a ride.
Catch a ride.
You're close.
Okay. So I just,
And ride share, also.
Dave Moore, the county chair,
Yeah,
he had that book.
he's big into that.
okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the Catch a Ride program, their main focus is to get people to and from work, employment.
That's huge. I mean, and
Absolutely.
nowadays with vehicles and gas, it's a big, and then you got other stuff too. And
Absolutely.
even when your car breaks down,
Mhm.
there's no excuse. You gotta get to work.
Right, right. So, through the work that we do and, our focus is access to food and, nutrition in general. We have asked those programs to consider, rides to the grocery
Yep.
store or rides to
Okay.
the farmer's market. And that is something that they offer.
And I know a lot of small towns don't have enough public transportation.
Right,
That's just-
exactly.
That's just that comes with the
Mhm.
territory, that's all.
Yep.
Mhm.
And something to mention about the Clintonville Farmers Market, as Penny was saying, it is on a Thursday, it's a weekday market, so that makes it unique. That's a bonus, in my opinion, with it being on the weekdays. And it is located right downtown, so, access as far as walking to it is a nice option.
Well, you know what's nice about it, they got 3 growers right in the area.
Mhm,
That helps.
definitely. And they, accept these they accept the WIC program, so that is definitely a benefit to the community.
Okay, I guess next we go on to outreach, education or program reminders and announcements from staff.
I'll first start a big, off Haley and then we'll give everyone else a turn, but Chris had alluded to earlier, the August 19th extension committee meeting potentially being held at the Waupaca Public Library. Have a really nice meeting space in the basement, because with a network that we sit on, Haley, myself, and actually Amy is also a part of that network. We have been working with the exhibit coordinator at the library to host an exhibit for all of August and all of September to highlight the need for the resources that we have in our community, in our county, such as most important transportation methods, public health department and human services, CAP services, and food pantries. This particular exhibit is really highlighting hunger and food insecurity in our community. Talking about the fact that there really are homeless people that live in Waupaca County, that there really are strong needs for the food pantries, the backpack programs, the food that's feeding our kids over the weekend, summer meal programs, food wise, the work that we do. The fact that farmers markets accept those important benefits like food share, which is EBT and WIC, that we have Right now, 170 senior farmers market nutrition program vouchers were distributed already, not even halfway through the season where families or people can accept those. So we have hunger, we have poverty, we have, you know, there are major problems with access to nutritious foods in our county. This is not just a nationwide issue. So this exhibit is shining light on the stats and the, you know, the relevance to the resources that we have in our community. So it's kind of gonna come full circle. The exhibit highlights a table-like model, that there's 4 pieces to this, to having a stable, secure food system. And so it highlights all 4 of those. So it's gonna be a really great, we've been working hard on it and are so grateful. We had a meeting at Aquamosin maybe this, like earlier than that. Or later, I don't know, since the
February.
new year, sometime in 2024, January, February, we were having a meeting. The library coordinator happened to walk by as we were talking about this, like, group that we have, and she's like, I'll fit you in. So here we are a few months later, and we're going to be exhibiting a lot. So there's gonna be really interactive, fun. We've had Macy, who was interim for Amy, still helping Penny with 4-H stuff. She created some felt food for us to go along with the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. So there's gonna be some really fun interactive pieces for little kids, but also some really fun, important details for adults as well. So we're hoping to walk you through that, but it would be really great if you would visit it when we're, you know, when we're there in August. We're gonna bring you there, hopefully make it easy to force you to walk through it, and then spread the word, share that with other county board members, other, you know, community members, because we have been told, which I didn't even realize, Waupaca Public Library is very unique in the fact that they have such a large exhibit room designated for these exhibits, and they get exhibits that travel the nation. They're one of very, very few libraries in the state that have such a large exhibit space. So this isn't something that just people from Waupaca or the county visit, it's people, you know, all over. So please share, and, you know, hopefully we help. We're gonna have the last section of the exhibit is kind of the now what, or what can you do to help? So that there will be like, and it's not just money, it's really just awareness too, is a really important piece. So, that's for other work.
We will have that flyer soon, and when we do have that flyer, if we could share that out to this group, that would be excellent.
I would just want to bring up on that poverty. The poverty rate in Waupaca County is around 10%. That'll include the homeless. It's high.
Our statistics across the state, or excuse me, in our county are very close to the state averages, if not in some categories higher.
Well, sure, it's a little higher. I think they're about 13%.
With that, have they done any studies of what it's gonna become in the next 10 years? Because the elderly, I think they said in Waupaca County in 15 years is gonna double to over 65. So the percentage of individuals in the county are gonna get up so high, paying less taxes, using more of our medical programs, that I'm certain that our county's poverty level is gonna increase also.
Human Services is keeping those figures because it's gonna affect
Mhm,
them very,
mhm.
very much.
Just didn't know.
They
if anybody-
do they still do their community needs survey, I'm guessing, like every few years?
Yeah, every 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, and a little bit. So State of Care does a health assessment, and then the county as well. So there's a health action plan put in place based on the. So.
I know that everywhere does a 5-year assessment of what their goals are gonna be, and just wondering how the ag extension here has looked at that, of what they have to start directing their needs towards in the future. If
So an example specifically related to the population, so one, Tiffany, our previous life Lifespan, which Lifespan is our human development and relationships program or education program. Reach for our older audience, older individuals or families. The other target population is families that are either soon to be supporting older individuals or are supporting older individuals. So Tiffany did a lot of work and in looking at that data and forming a partnership with Melissa and ADRC. And already Alicia is gonna continue some of those key points because that's the work that she's gonna have, that she's gonna do, but using the data and the resources and partnerships with ADRC, partnerships with vets, those types of pieces to get education program where, people, where the people are. So that's an example of how, just one example of how we're specifically using the information and the partnerships to help guide or steer our educational efforts.
And us as an office, went through a civil rights review, and really had the opportunity to draw attention to those numbers. And that's something that we continue to stay up to date on. So the numbers of the certain populations in our county where we focus our efforts.
Mhm.
And we do also have a very close relationship with the health, community health educator upstairs in public health, Faith, and Margot was her predecessor. And Margot and now Faith sit on the Waupaca County Coalition that Amy, myself, and Haley also are on. And through that coalition, who we also partner strongly with Educator, we are kind of ingrained into the conversations around those community health assessments. So we are, although we don't do the health assessment, we're a part of the conversation when they are assessing.
So you're already planning for the future for the elderly that are gonna start overly expanding in the county here in the near future.
The Applied Population Lab, through UW and Extension, it's a collaborative partnership. They do custom demographic profiles, and I don't know if they do demographic projections, but that could be something interesting to look into for me.
I would just share, I was on vacation last week, and so I did not get to update the report. I think there were potentially some things repeated from May in that report. And the things that I put in did not get in that report the way I put them in the system anyways. So one of our big things last month was we did have camp. And the meeting, our last meeting, I think, was shortly before camp. And so we had 75 kids from 3 counties that we did summer camp down at Upham Woods in the Dells. That was the last week in June. I think overall went well. It was the first time our 3 counties came together, so we have, some things we want to change for next year. And then also, Allison Acker has been still doing AmeriCorps programs. She did a 5-week lesson at the Fremont Library, and a 4-week, tomorrow is the last day. I'll be going to help again with the Waupaca Library, doing hands-on STEM activities in the park at Riverside Park. She was in Manawa last week and did a program at the Manawa Library. And this Thursday, we are at the New London Public Library doing some 4-H outreach and just getting the word out on 4-H and having hands-on projects for kids to do. Fremont Library, it was a small group, but they really enjoyed themselves. They did she called it 4-H Fridays. And it was 5 weeks in a row. And we had a 4-H volunteer come in to make leather covered journals with the group that was there the first week. Because the summer reading program theme is let your adventure begin at your library, something to that effect. And so they made journals that they could use over the summer. And Allison's mom used to be the Maple Queen years ago in Wisconsin. And so their family was very big into maple syrup making. So one of the dates happened to be Lumberjack Day, like as a, those special days, donut day and all that stuff, Lumberjack Day, and they made pancakes and they brought in all kinds of the supplies to show the group about maple syrup making. And then another day last week, I was not able to be there, but they made paper. And let me see. Oh, and then another Friday they did natural paints. Like using vegetables and things to make natural paint. And so just some very unique things that Allison was able to plan with Fremont. And so just trying to get some of the 4-H programming out in the community and hopefully, some extra interest in 4-H. And the other big thing is that the county fair is coming up in a month. So working on things related to that. There will be, or there are some changes this year. Karen Acker, Allison's mom, she had been the exhibitor coordinator for the fair for the last 5 years, and she had resigned after the fair last year. And the fair board did not refill that position. They are trying to do that themselves. And so I need to work through like what things are, things that the fair board does and things that our office supports. Karen was very close with our office and, getting emails out to exhibitors on different things and just a number of pieces like that to support the junior fair, which is the role that I'm at the fair for, is to support the exhibitors and the volunteers in my 4-H role. And so just, communicating with the fair board and trying to there's, superintendents that are volunteers of the fair board that are also 4-H volunteers. And, they ask me questions and I try and connect them with the fair. And because I don't make the decisions of the fair board. It's a separate fair board. And I don't know as many answers as I used to, truthfully. So, just trying to be a connector for those exhibitors and for the fair board, to work through, just being informed exhibitors. Because there's always, people have a lot of questions related to the fair, even though it is, it's a huge event, obviously, and a big community event. It is a choice really for 4-H members to participate in the fair. It is not a requirement. And most of them do, that's one of their highlights of the year. And that is their opportunity to showcase what they do in 4-H and learn in 4-H and learn from the judges about, how their items place and things like that. And so just continuing to try to support the exhibitors as they are 4-H members at that event. So I will be doing a email to the fair board with the hours that I'll be able to be in the youth building. That'll be different from previous years, where, Karen was there most of the time, and I don't know their plan for the youth building. And so just trying to work through some of those things for the fair coming up. And we have day camp next week. So forgot about that. We have about 40 kids signed up for day camp next Tuesday at the fairgrounds. So that'll be, that's always a very fun time. It's a superhero theme and the ambassadors were so excited. They had all kinds of ideas and we're tie-dyeing pillowcases. So, and they wanted to tie-dye capes and I could not spend the amount of money to buy 40 cotton white capes to tie-dye. So they're getting pillowcases and we're going to say, you can't be a superhero without your rest. So, depending on how small you are, yes. So anyways, a lot of superhero themed things. We're having a superhero snack mix and so it'll be a good time at the fairgrounds next Tuesday.
This gal, baby's mom,
Allison, yep.
she pretty much organized the setup of the stuff. The supervisor.
Super.
Board is taking over that position. Was there a big cost there that they don't?
I don't know. I honestly, as much as I work with Karen and like talk to her every other day, I do not know what she was paid. I never asked her that. And so the position, Judy Peterson, I know Larry knows her well. Judy Peterson had done that for like 20 years, basically. And
The extension service did it.
and yes, even before her, yes, Virginia Bowersox, Virginia Bowersox did it. And then Judy started where it used to be young people actually turned in a paper entry form. And so Judy Peterson for over 20 years would actually physically enter those things into the computer to get the entry tags. And she was also a fair board member for part of that time. And so she was called the junior fair secretary. And she actually did all of that work using a laptop or a computer here in the extension office. And then when she was ready to retire, the fair board had decided to hire a exhibitor coordinator, somebody that would help junior fair and open class with the exhibiting part. Like they weren't involved in, you know, the carnival or the parking or anything like that. And they would do the entry tags, they would get together the ribbon boxes for judging, all of those things, run reports for the superintendents so that they know what's in their area and everything like that. And Karen, like I said, had done that about 5 years. And I believe it is just a member of the fair board answering the exhibitor coordinator emails. The last I had officially heard was that they were evaluating filling that role or if they could just do that within members of the fair board. So I don't believe they filled that role.
Hey Penny, was most of the exhibiting now done online?
Yes,
So that was versus paper.
yes.
That might have been, I don't know, just technology maybe and.
Yeah, it's actually the same system, where Judy would enter it. And then they just went to the online version. And so Karen would be the one that people, and even this year now, without Karen in that role, people would email me that, you know, well, we can't get it to do this, we can't get it to do that. And I would forward them to the fair board. Because it is an online entry system. That's been the last 3 years. No, it must have been the year Karen started. Yeah, that it's an online entry system. The there is a challenge with the entry system that it's very antiquated. It's rather old. But the newer systems also are very expensive. And so, yeah.
Well, it's just that the fair is, well, it's for the kids.
Mhm,
That's why.
mhm. Well, and there is money in the county budget, that goes to the fair. I believe it comes out of the Parks Department budget, and that is intended for junior fair. That, I think it's $20,000.
It's probably up to 20, was almost 15,000 now. probably.
And maybe it is 15. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a part of any of that. Yeah,
Right.
but yes, that is actually through the Parks Department budget. And that goes towards, manure haul, like that goes towards anything related to junior fair is what the purpose of that money has been in the past at least. But I don't know. I think Rich has been in to do a report at the county board. I remember Jeremy doing one a couple years ago. I assume Rich was here. Mhm.
Is there a way that the youth can get involved in this and possibly like a 4-year program that they could take on certain levels of this job, and then as they get to their senior year, that they would just hand the reins back over to the next one? I don't know how intense that this all becomes, but you want somebody that can run a computer.
Mhm.
You have a kid,
Mhm.
and if they have a question, they can go to a fair board member and they can answer it. But if it's just filling out the forms and the getting everything lined up and getting things organized, if they have a format that they followed for the last few years, that maybe some of the younger members could do something like that, and then they could get a scholarship for their work.
Mhm.
And if they started off like as a freshman year, went through this for 4 years, so that by the time they get to that leadership role, that they would either be the president of this group or whatever,
Mhm.
that they could make decisions and get them more involved. And maybe if they go on to school, that this would give them some type of leadership program that would be something that would benefit them.
That is a great idea, to involve the youth. The Fair Board is a shareholder organization. And so you need to hold stock in the fair to run for the fair board.
Okay.
And, I haven't been asked about, like if there's any youth that, they would want to involve. That would be a fair board decision. But they, one of the newest fair board members is, I think part of his background is computer technology. So he was kind of working with that program. But there are some counties that have junior fair boards, like with kids involved, and that just, at this time isn't something that our fair board is
Well,
Participating in.
so there's a fair association.
Yeah.
Associations are doing the same thing. You would think we don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's a program out there.
Mhm.
To update it, to do all things, because every county's doing the same thing.
Right.
Through the extension with the kids, and there's a certain amount of money is paid back through the state. So for kids.
Yes, there is state premium money comes from DAC cap. The fairs are actually, county fairs in Wisconsin are governed by the Wisconsin Department of Ag. And they do have money that is, paid out to the counties, and the counties have to, abide by certain guidelines to get that premium. And by county, I mean county fair, the county fairs to get that premium reimbursement from the state, towards what the kids exhibit because they get a premium for each color ribbon that they receive on exhibits. So, yeah, there's a lot of pieces.
I just thought if you had a leadership role and nobody was actually
Mhm.
filling it, they're gonna kind of piecemeal it between the different individuals. You could put somebody there to kind of heading it down the right path, and then if something needs attention, the fair committee or board could handle that, but just a thought.
Mhm.
Do a work in progress.
Mhm.
We'll update on after the fair show, what,
See how it goes.
and then
Yeah, and it's really, and I don't want to give the impression, like, it's not my role to tell the fair board how to run. I just, I spend a lot of time at the fair and my kids exhibit at the fair, which is hard because I really, don't leave
Right.
very often. Yes. I love going to other county fairs because nobody knows my name. So, I can check it all out. So, I mean, just really trying to have a partnership with the fair board. I don't want to, and there are some extension, really wants us to be in the educational role when we're involved in the fair, not necessarily just a service role all the time. So there's just a lot of pieces. So.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
Sure, I can provide a quick update. So I think I have enough copies for everybody. So that is a program through the organization and leadership development area of community development. They're offering in Elevando, Wisconsin, which is a leadership program that is, it's for the entire state, so anybody can sign up for it. It is delivered in both Spanish and English simultaneously. So primarily it is delivered in Spanish, and then for those who need the English translation, they have the English translation. So it kind of turns it on its head a little bit, and you get to experience it from the other side. But that really is helping individuals develop their leadership skills and prepares them going into leadership roles so that they can create an active network of leaders across the state, people who can bring these skills and talents back to their communities and their community-based organizations. So that begins on September, I don't know the exact date, but I know that registration is due on August 31st. So if you know of anybody who might be interested in that, please do forward that information to them. They do have scholarships available as the tuition is $300. And I do have that information in Spanish as well, if you'd like to share it in Spanish. A couple of other things that I've been working on. I've been helping to plan the Towns Association meeting, which is coming up next month already. Hard to believe that's already here. That one will be located at the County Highway Shop, hosted by the town of Caledonia. I believe it's August 15 or 16. You can't quote me on that one. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But we're just working on getting some educational components to that meeting, specifically relating to budget, because that's going to be on folks' mind as the budget season is upon us. I've also been helping, just doing some various visioning for a couple of nonprofit organizations. And I'm helping 2 organizations with their nonprofit applications. So those can be really nuanced. Each organization is different, so helping them address different questions and just getting themselves really organized so that they can successfully submit those applications and start to become a profit organization. I've been doing some support for the Connecting Waupaca County Communities, which is a mouthful, but they are doing a resource fair on August 10th at Manawa Masonic Center. And I think I brought this up last month, but just as a refresher. I don't have any flyers with me, but they are available in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. So I've just been providing some organizational and administrative support to that group. It's going to be a really great event. It's going to be geared towards lower income folks, but it's really open to anybody in the county. There's going to be 31 or 32, I think we're at, tabling organizations there. So just organizations that can help provide resources to these individuals. They're also doing health screenings, haircuts, family photography. They're doing a food distribution for through Feeding America. And they're also trying to coordinate transportation for people. So they've set up a few, I think it's the Manawa, Waupaca, Clintonville, and New London libraries are like the shuttle site, so people can go there and then get a ride to the Manawa Masonic Center. So they're really trying to expand their reach and get people to make it more accessible for people to participate in that. So that's been, I know they've put a lot of work into that project, so I've been happy to lend a hand a little bit and provide some things as they need me, but they've really done a lot of work in a short amount of time. And upcoming, I have a professional development opportunity that is going to be funded through UW. It's called Real Colors. Has anybody heard of that? No, our extension people have. So Real Colors is a type of personality assessment that helps groups become more cohesive and helps them essentially just work better together. So first it comes down to learning about yourself so that you can understand how you interact with others. And then that expands out and people know how to interact with their coworkers, leadership, etc. So it's really helping people understand one another and just working better together. Because a lot of times organizations will focus on the task, which is getting the work done, but not so much the process. And this really looks at the process of relationship building, decision making, group alignment. So it just really creates more effective organizations. That is all about.
Okay, anybody else? I'm gonna go on. Ryder, the next meeting is scheduled for August 19th, which is the third Monday because of the fair. And it's planning on being at.
Right, I guess it is up to the committee if they would like to meet there. I confirmed with Christy that as long as the meeting space is open to the public and accessible and we post the agenda, that it's good, which, or we're okay with that, and the Waupaca Library meets all of those. And we would do our business meeting and then we would adjourn with the business meeting, but we would also note that there would be the tour afterwards. This is based on Christie's suggestion on how to create the agenda, but then we would note that there would be a tour, but there would be a quorum of the committee or possibly a quorum of the county board if others guests want to come, but there would be no business discussion or any decisions that would be made. And it would be open to the public as well.
And it might help to look back. We did that in 2018 with the 4-H exhibit at the library. We had the agenda that we met there.
Yeah, Christie has an agenda. Thanks. If it's okay with the committee, then we would
have to vote on it, just kind of get consensus.
Our land concern is okay.
Yeah, it's fine with me, yeah.
Do you need a motion?
I don't think we need a motion. I think consensus is
Okay.
good. And if we've got consensus, then Ally and I will make sure that we get the agenda so that it says all the right things.
Okay.
So we'll plan on meeting at the Waupaca Public Library on August 19th.
Okay, so
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Because I have this.